Logic 0, example 29.6, the shorter the conditional proof segment, the better. So we're going to complete a proof that looks like this. A problem would look like this. So we want to derive C only if not A. And we see that the conclusion we are trying to derive has material consequence as its dominant operation. It has a conditional structure. That's another way of saying that. And so our first inclination is, okay, let's do a conditional proof. And let's suppose the antecedent is true. So let's use the antecedent as our supposition. And then let's see if we can derive not A based on that supposition. Okay, then we can, from line 1, we can get not A or not B by De Morgan. And in line 5, we can do double negation on line 4 to get rid of those double negations. And then we could do implication, line 5. And then we can, from lines 2 and 3, get not B. So lines 2 and 3 by modus ponens. In line 8, we can get not A from 6 and 7 by modus tollens. And then in line 9, we can get our conclusion. Supposing C is true, then not A is true. And that's from lines 3 through 8 by conditional proof. And that closes off our proof. Okay, so that is one way of doing this. However, we see that, especially in line 4, we're only appealing to line 1. So that means we could apply that rule of De Morgan before we started the conditional proof segment. And so for our purposes in this class, we're going to try to make the conditional proof segments as short as possible. And what this does is it reduces the number of correct answers so that we get, my objective is to get a canonical proof for every proof, like a single canonical proof. That is not possible, at least so far as I've been able to figure out, applying certain rules. But the more we can kind of make our answers in some sort of canonical form, the better. And this is a common practice in logic and mathematics to put things in some kind of canonical representation. So what we could do here is do something that's very similar, but in line 3 we could do De Morgan from line 1. And in line 4, we could do that double negation on line 3. And in line 5, we could even do implication, so that a lot of what we did inside of the conditional proof can logically be done before we start the conditional proof segment. And that's the direction I want you to go. Let's only put in the conditional proof segment things that necessarily belong there. Okay. So we have implication on line 4. And then in line 6, we can start our conditional proof. I believe that it will work. Okay, so now let's suppose C in line 6, and then see what comes out of that. We can get not B from lines 2 and 6 by modus ponens. So this is all very familiar to what we did before. And we can get not A from lines 5 and 7 by modus tollens. But now we kept the conditional proof segment small, and the conditional proof segment only contains what is logically necessary to it. So this is considered, will be considered a better proof than the previous proof, even though they're the same number of lines. So then we get our conclusion by conditional proofs, 6 through 8, conditional proof. And that is a better proof.